Hey, welcome back. I'm Matt, the Helpful Home Inspector, up in our studio in Hartford, Wisconsin, coming at you with some tips and tricks to help you maintain and take care of your house. Today, we have a special guest, Mr. Russ Benser from the Mobile Repair Guys. How's it going, Russ?
Great. How's everybody tonight?
Good, man. Good. We're doing good. Back at it here. And Russ is going to come to us today. Our main topic today is going to be talking about small engine repair and maintenance. He just got off the job site, so he's still fresh over there. But he knows how important it is to help you guys better maintain and take care of your homes, and he's got some stuff to talk to you and can help you out a little bit here today. Now to get the whole show started here, we have our defect of the week that we always do, and today we're talking hail damage. So one of the things that as a home inspector we come across every once in a while is hail damage. I mean, it's just a fact of life, right?
Yep.
With hail damage, it can come through. It can be very damaging, not only to your roof, but it can be damaging to your gutters, your siding, your windows, all that kind of stuff. Not to mention any vehicles and things like that get left outside. Generally, when we're talking about hail damage, it's going to be quarter size or larger, where you're going to start to experience damage to your roof and personal belongings and things like that. Otherwise, most parts of your house and stuff can take the little pebbles and things like that you would normally get. But when you get those large hail chunks, pieces of ice come flying down from the heavens, hitting your roof, okay, it can cause a lot of damage to the mat that makes up your shingle. It'll blast away the granular that's on your roof, leaving all kinds of little damage marks. It'll also, on top of that, dent out any, vents and things like that you might have on your roof. Now, Tammy, you can switch over to our computer here. You can see. So we had a hailstorm come through in Hartford here on April 19th, and there was lots of houses that had some hail damage. So I went up there and being a home inspector, I'm like, I'll go up there and check my own roof. So I went up there, looked at my roof, and I'm like, oh, I got hail damage. So I got to get somebody to come out and look at this stuff, okay? And so what I did is I called up 3 roofers to come out and assess my roof for hail damage and give me a quote, to replace the roof, because could I re-roof my house? Yeah, sure. I could. Do I have time or the inclination to do so? Or the other? No, I don't. But Tammy will go back to the computer here, and we'll show you what some pictures of some hail damage to look like. So you can see where the hail went in the middle part here. Right there, okay, and then it blasted away the granular in this area. Now, this quote was from one of our roofers, Ridgetop Exteriors, Matt and Nick, what I think was his name, honey, right? They came out here and they were great. They did a really good job. When they go up onto the roof, they're going to take basically sidewalk chalk and they're going to mark out all the different hail spots and stuff, and they label your roof. You can see this is the metal vent for my water heater. You can see how it looks like somebody went and hit it with a whole bunch of golf balls and stuff. Okay, they use chalk that they put across it to kind of help identify the indentations and things on the metal. But you can see they mark off a 10-foot by 10-foot square. He circles some of the worst damaged spots on the roof, okay? And that's what it would look like up on your roof. And then there's a valley. You can see how he's got a dent right there in the valley from a chunk of ice coming through. This is a really bad one. You can see where the chunk just came down and just destroyed the shingle in that area. And it can hit siding and stuff, cause all kinds of little siding dents and dings and stuff. There's another one right there, and these things are all over the place up on my roof. These are all pictures from my roof, okay? Now, with 3 roofers coming in, and they all said, you have significant hail damage. You need to replace this roof. Right. There's a lot of damage up there. So then I'm like, okay, I'll call my insurance company, which I've been with for 14 years, okay? The silver lining, okay? Right? Not going to say their exact name. Been with them for 14 years. So you think after 14 years, and not filing a claim for anything, not car. Well, we had one car claim. Tammy had a little accident, but other than that, no other claims of any kind, especially against our homeowner's insurance. Right. And they sent out this guy. Not going to mention his name. He shows up and he walks up like he's got attitude. Like, I'm like, what's going on, buddy? And he's like, oh, this is, I've been doing a lot of them around here, and there's really no hail damage here. So, I'll go up and take a look though.
Really?
Yeah. And that was his attitude when he walked up at the house, and I'm like, really? And he just kind of struts up, and he's got his fancy sunglasses on, and I'm like, okay, nice. All right. And the guys from Ridgetop Exteriors came, and they were gonna kind of go up there and talk to the guy and show him what they found and stuff,
sure.
And so they go up on the roof or whatever, and this guy doesn't take his sunglasses off the whole time. And doesn't look at stuff, and the roofer is trying to point out things. He's basically downplaying or poo-pooing it, it doesn't exist or whatever, And he comes off the roof and he's like, I didn't see any major damage up there at all. There's not really anything dented or anything, and
Wow.
Really, dude? I'm like, I went up there and looked at it, and it was pretty damaged. I had 3 roofers come up, and they all looked at it and said it was pretty damaged. And then you come and you didn't see anything going on, And he said, no, I'm just gonna write this up as a no claim.
No claim.
And and go from there. I'm like, what the frick? And part of the thing is these adjusters, a lot of them are incentivized by their insurance agencies to not find claims. And granted, I don't want to, if there is no claim, I don't want a frivolous claim. I don't want to fault fraud anybody or anything like that. But if there's nature caused damage to my home,
legitimate claim,
then the insurance company that I've been paying for the last 14 years, I don't even know how much money I paid them over 14.
Right.
I mean, because they have our car insurance, they have our homeowner insurance, they have all of our ATVs, our boat, they have everything.
Holy cow.
I mean, that's a lot of money every year that I'm mailing these guys, And to have this guy come out and won't even take off sunglasses, I'm like, well, really? So we use an insurance broker through Colonial Insurance, and that's who we've gone with. And they're like a broker, but our insurance company is actually the Silver Lining. Mm-hmm. And so then they call it, the broker calls up Silver Lining, and the guy's like, oh yeah, he doesn't take off, he wears his sunglasses so he can see the roof better because of the glare.
Glare off of the shingles.
Glare off of the black shingles. Yeah, man. You realize I'm a home inspector. I'm on the roofs and looking at roofs every single day, and you're gonna try to hand me a line of BS like that. I'm like, what you got to be kidding me, Yeah. So we're still in the battle with that, and just because you have hail damage, just because the roofer finds hail damage, does not necessarily mean it's a slam dunk with your insurance company. Some insurance companies, according to the roofers, are better about it.
Yeah.
And a couple of those, USAA was one that they all said was very good, which is, I mean, it's representing the vets and stuff like that, so that makes sense.
Sure.
State Farm, they said was very good. And there was one other one that I can't remember. But yeah, and I'm just like, well, the adjuster shouldn't necessarily be incentivized to not find claims, first of all, and if there's hail damage that you can document and see, there shouldn't be an argument.
Well, especially with 3 different roofers coming in and saying you all had damage.
Yeah.
And
these aren't buddies of mine. They're all big companies. Yeah. And these big companies aren't going to put their reputation at risk and stuff, And granted, if it was some little small Joe Schmo roofing or whatever, that's, got a magnet on the side of their car. Yeah. Then I get it. They're just out there sometimes just trying to make money, or a storm chaser company coming up from Florida or something like that. Sure. I get it. But these guys aren't. They're all local, large companies in the area. And yeah, it's just crazy. So hail damage can be very damaging to your home. It can cause leaking. It can cause mature failure of the roof surface. Okay. We had on the April 19th storm, we had 2 inches of hail. They had to bring the snowplows around because of the hail that was gathering everywhere. Basically, with the amount of hail that was coming down, all the granular was getting blasted off the shingles. So the guy goes up there, he's like, oh, there's a lot of granular loss here. The roof must be really old. I'm like, it's a 19-year-old roof, and you're telling me that on a 19-year-old roof that's supposed to last 40 years, there should be this much granular loss, and it's not because of age, it's because of the hail.
It's because of all the hail hit
tore
it off.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And so all the granular sitting in the gutter, and this guy's he's just a ding dong. But we're working through that, and hopefully it'll all resolve.
Did you ask for another inspector or another agent to come out?
That was what the phone call to West Bend Mutual was from so we sent our broker after him, I figured the broker would have more leverage and stuff like that, know. But yeah, they came back with that kind of a response, and I'm like, that's kind of crazy.
I think I would request one.
Yeah, that's what and that's ultimate. They sent me a sheet to have the roofer fill out. I don't know what that's all about, but are they going to believe the roofer then?
Well, they didn't when the agent was here. So
no,
you had a roofer up there with him.
Yeah. So why would you believe the roofer when he fills out a sheet of paper versus when he was actually here to talk to the adjuster?
Agent,
yeah. So I don't know, goofy stuff. But hail damage, watch out for it. If you do have it, don't delay your claim. Insurance companies usually will only honor claims up to 1 year after the hailstorm or the event of nature, they call it in their terms, but definitely something to watch out for. The next thing we have is something to save $1. We always like to give you guys something to save $1 every week. All right. So the thing we're going to give you to save $1 this week is stop using mulch. Okay. Mulch is not intended to be piled on. deteriorate, pile more on, deteriorate, pile on more, because then you end up with these big piles of mulch up against your siding, causing moisture and insects and
damage that way.
Yeah. And the mulch, it costs you a whole bunch of money. I don't know, how much did we spend on mulch when we used to mulch our yard, honey? It was probably like $800.
It was a couple $100 each year.
Yeah, it was like,
but we switched to stone.
Yeah, it was somewhere from $500 to $800 a year to mulch our yard, and instead we went to
Stone
like
is a one payment deal.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm sick of spending $500 every year. Instead, I spent $500. The stone company over off of 41 there, they came in and delivered 10 yards of crushed red granite rock for me or whatever.
Yep.
Took a little time to put it out, no more than I would spend doing the mulch, you know,
Right.
and I never have to mulch again, you know. I never have to mulch again. It doesn't deteriorate, doesn't go away. It doesn't blow away when I'm blowing it out because of the grass clippings and stuff. Yeah, and I, on the 10 yards, I had 5 extra buckets of it, so I can always refill it if I need to, you know, and stuff. Yep. Yeah, we did it once, and we've been enjoying the fruits of that labor for the last 5 years. Haven't had to pay that $500.
You don't have any wash away either.
No.
From rain, heavy rain or whatever.
Yep.
The stones will be there.
Stones will be there. And the mulch also, you can get those mosses and things that grow out of it, and the mushroom. None of that.
Yeah, you could still power wash the stones off.
You could power wash. Yeah, if it does get dirty or something like that. Yeah, for sure. So that is save a buck. Switch out to some decorative stone. Stop using mulch, people. Mulch, it deteriorates. I don't know how much money people make on mulch sales every year. Tons. But it's because you're misusing it. You're just causing yourself some issues. So get some decorative stone. It'll last longer, perform better for you. And in the long run, even if you have to pay a little bit more to do it, it'll save you a ton of money every single year. Okay, so I'm not just saving you $1, I'm saving you hundreds of bucks. Okay, so go out and save yourself some money, people. All right. Now we're going to get into our main topic of the day. We're talking about small engine repair and maintenance with our man Russ Benser from the Mobile Repair Guys. If you want to get a hold of the Mobile Repair Guys, we will flash their number up down below here. We'll also have their number on our website. You can go get a hold of them there. Their website is linked on there as well. You can also email them, call them. I mean, yeah, lots of ways you can get a hold of them.
Lots of ways to get a hold of us.
Yep. Now, generally, you guys work southeastern Wisconsin.
Yep, all southeastern Wisconsin right now.
Yep.
We're looking to expand. You know, we are so busy with the service work right now and maintenance.
Yeah.
We're looking to expand and have either employees or the opportunity to purchase and own your own business as a franchisee.
Yeah. You guys have been franchising for a while now.
We started franchising in 2012.
Yeah.
I've got 2 really good guys right now. One guy in Germantown and Omni Falls.
What's his name? Give him a shout out.
Lee, Lonnie Merchant is his name.
Okay.
And then I've got Chris Henson, who is taking care of like Sussex, Merton, Okauchee, a little bit of Pewaukee area there.
Yeah. So, and basically you're just looking for somebody that's mechanically inclined.
Yep.
Right. And that has a driver's license.
Yeah.
You got to be able to drive. They are the mobile repair guys.
Yes.
So the basic concept with the mobile repair you guys is you know that shop that you used to haul your snowblower into in the back of your car with a bungee cord holding the tailgate down?
We come to you at no extra charge.
Yeah, they come to you. They bring the whole shop to you at no extra charge. And you're like, how can they do that? Well, okay, they don't have to pay for a shop. They don't have to pay for a lease. They don't have to pay for all that other stuff.
Our overhead is very minimal. And we actually come right to your house and do the repairs and minor tune-ups or minor repairs at your house.
Yeah.
So.
And I have been a customer of them. Probably, did you look me up at all?
I think it was since 8 years ago.
8 years ago, yeah.
I think so.
Was the first time I called.
Yeah.
I saw you were filling up over at the BP here, and I saw you and I talked with you. Then I'm like, I got my snowblower just won't go. What's going on? And she's like, call Janet up and set up an appointment or whatever, you know. And they came out there, and I've had the same snow. We got that blower in 2009, I think, wasn't it, honey? That Craftsman. We got it at Sears before Sears closed. Okay. Yeah. And it's been a great lawnmower, but I don't get to use it all that often. And so with the ethanol fuel and everything, the carburetor would get clogged up, and I don't know how to take apart the carburetor and clean it. If I spent enough time searching on YouTube, maybe I could figure it out because I'm pretty mechanically inclined myself. But I don't have the time to do that. And why not let
gasoline and carburetors is the most common problem that we have. So.
Yeah, and that's on snowblowers and lawnmowers, right?
Yes,
And
all the small engines.
All the small engines.
Doesn't make any difference what it is. Chainsaws, weed eaters, generators.
Yeah.
The gas sits in there too long and it gums up the carb.
And the gumming up, there's like a little pinhole that is basically the carburetor is regulating.
Needle size hole.
Yeah, that's regulating how much fuel gets spurted out into the air with it, And when that little hole gets clogged up with anything,
chunk of dirt, just debris. And then the ethanol actually is, it's corn syrup.
Yeah,
is what they're putting in there. So.
Well, and when you're talking about that little needle, what is it called? The needle valve?
The needle.
No,
just a needle.
Needle. Yeah. When that gets blocked, you have to take it apart to get to it. It's not something that you can just spray out from outside the thing.
Inside the carb. You take the carburetor apart, bowl off the bottom, and then clean it all out.
Yep. So And what do you use to clean that?
Just regular carb cleaner.
Carb cleaner?
Yeah.
Yeah. That cleans up the gunk and junk. And,
takes it all off and cleans it up.
And that like just works its way into that needle hole or to clean it out, or how does that get it? Or do you guys have like a tool?
No, I've got a small tool that we use to, depending on which carburetor it actually is, to run up inside there. And then the emulsion tube gets plugged too. So we take that apart and clean all
fuel
the
just sits in
little
there.
jets and stuff that are little holes that are in there.
Sure.
Clean it all out.
Now, when it comes to the mobile repair guys, you guys, what you basically do is you call and set up an appointment. And do you guys do estimates over? You don't do estimates over the phone, do you?
We'll give you
unless it's like a tune-up.
Regular tune-up estimate. Yeah, we can determine that, and our hourly rate is $100 an hour, and then we charge by the half hour at $50.
Okay.
For general labor.
Yeah.
And then our tune-ups are all standard prices, and they're on the website if you didn't want to look that up.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. And basically what they do is when they show up, they'll diagnose the problem, right?
Yep.
And then you'll come up with a plan to correct the problem. And if it's expensive, you'll run it by the homeowner probably, right?
Yeah. We give them an upfront estimate of estimated cost that it would cost for the repair and parts and labor.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing about when you guys came and worked for me is I couldn't be home.
Right.
So I just set it outside, and you guys showed up, and I showed up at home. You even snowblowed part of my driveway for me at the time, and the thing was humming like a charm, And
we do that quite often where the homeowners are at work or whatever, and they just leave the units outside. Yep. We come and repair them, leave the invoice in the door, and you guys shoot me a check or a call with a credit card over the phone.
Yep. Yeah, it worked great. It was a really smooth operation. It was easy to use, you guys, and it's so much better than trying to hook up find a trailer, because I don't keep a trailer at home here.
It's all about convenience for you, and that's why we created this in the first place. And
you get to put on a lot of miles. How many miles you put on your truck every year?
Oh gosh, over 50.
Yeah,
50,000.
That's more than me. I put on about 40, honey, ish, 40 something.
Easily,
yeah. So it is one of those things when you work for people and you go to where they need you, you put on miles. It's just part of the deal.
Part of the job.
Yep, exactly. So as far as lawnmower, small engine equipment, they don't make them like they used to, do they?
No, they don't. A lot of them are actually throwaway items per se.
Okay,
but we can make them run, for a longer period of time before you do have to replace them.
Yeah. And you're talking about like hedge trimmers, string trimmers, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
And there again, if you do have problems with those, we're kind of upfront with you. Come to your house, and if it's not worth fixing, we'll be upfront with you and just tell you to go buy a new one.
Yeah. Well, what's the point of spending $400 to fix it?
To do it, to do it. And then, if you're paying a couple $100 to buy a new one compared to paying me, that similar amount of money to get a carburetor and fix it, and my time. So
if you want it fixed, he'll fix it, but he'll give you the honest truth though about if it's even worth fixing. And that's like with a lot of things these days. You know what I mean? When it comes to a dryer, a dryer in your home. I mean, the guy's going to show up at your house, want to charge you $450 to repair a belt that's inside your dryer because you think the whole thing apart, And by that time, you can spend $350 and go out and get a brand new dryer. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Now, as far as small engines really haven't changed all that much. The concept of the small engine, right?
No, it's basically spark, gas, and air.
Yeah. And with small engines, the only thing that I've seen over the last maybe 10 years is that you've seen some small engines go to 4-cycle instead of what was always 2-cycle
Right.
before.
Yeah, a lot of even the weed trimmers and stuff are 4-cycle now.
Yeah. Which is basically it just means you have separate oil and gas. As far as the operation, it doesn't change much. But you don't. The 2-cycle, the gas was in the oil was in the gas, which would lubricate your engine. Now you have to have that separated out
Gas
for the most part.
oil, yep.
Yeah. Life expectancy doesn't change with 2-cycle versus 4-cycle, does it?
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Your maintenance is a little different as far as
How to take care of it.
how to take care of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, it doesn't change a whole lot at all.
Yeah. And the main operation is not going to change at all because you're still doing the same operation. It's just the engine, the motor is what we're talking about.
It's a
there.
little different. Yeah.
Yep. Now, a lot of times when people are going to buy small engines, the engine will be listed in CCs.
Yeah.
What are they talking about, Russ? We don't know. We don't know that stuff.
It's your cubic capacity as far as what a motor is, as far as your CCs go. And the difference is the measurement of the volume of size of the engine. And then your horsepower is the measurement of how much power that engine's actually going to have.
Now, how do CCs and horsepower relate to each other?
They're very similar. Like I said, it's just the measurement of that.
Okay.
Your horsepower, like you have a 17 horsepower motor, it's kind of equal to, I believe it's 220 cc's.
Okay.
It's just a different way of labeling that motor.
And the amount of power that it can generate.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So if you're going to talk about like a motorcycle, sometimes are talked about in CCs as stuff as well, right?
Yes.
And so you could also talk about that in a horsepower number as well. Just like what is something in my world that they talk about is energy. So we can talk about in an air conditioner, we can talk about BTUs and we can talk about SEERs, and it's the same thing. We're just talking about the measuring it in a different way.
Correct.
So that's what CCs are, you guys. The more CCs you have, the more horsepower you have. The more horsepower you have, the more CCs you have. And the stronger the engine is, generally the more work can be done.
Yeah,
right?
it's usually a larger unit, the higher horsepower that you have or CCs that you have.
Yeah. So if your lawnmower is a 17 horse motor on it versus a 12 horse motor on it, you're going to be able to go faster. Your blades can spin faster. At life expectancy doesn't change. Might be a little bit easier.
It'll run a little longer probably. Yeah. Just because it's not working as hard as the smaller motor.
Yeah. Because the smaller motor, you may have to rev it at higher RPMs to get the same amount of work done as
correct
lower RPMs, but a higher.
And your wear and tear
motor
on the inside of the motor is going to be more.
Sure. Okay, cool. What makes one small engine better than another in your eyes?
Mostly it's just preference. I mean, they're made by different companies, but the components inside are pretty much all the same.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of difference between the motors.
Okay. So if you're going to Fleet Farm and you're looking at 3 different types of string trimmers with 3 different motors on them, go with the better brand or one that has a better reputation, maybe just if the engine doesn't matter that much.
Yeah. I mean, there again, it's more of a personal preference kind of thing.
Yeah. If you were going to Fleet Farm, what brand would you buy, Russ?
I probably wouldn't buy it from a box store.
Where would you buy it?
At a dealer.
At a dealer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would go to like a True Value or like to I used to work at TV trailers.
Okay.
And they sell not a box store brand. Model. It's a little bit better quality.
Sure.
Than you would get at a box store.
So, like, where would be a common place? I mean, Ace, True Value?
True Value.
Yeah.
I mean, they do carry a little bit better.
Like they carry
units,
Steel and all that kind of
stuff.
Yeah,
Echo.
Yeah. Steel and Echo are probably the 2 better ones out there that most people have access to.
And now some of the box stores are even carrying those too. So.
Yeah. Troy Belt's a good one too, but you just don't see those as often, right? I mean, they're right along the lines of Toro and stuff, right?
Yeah, they're comparable. Yeah. They're a little bit lower end as far as than what you're going to get at a box store. Mm-hmm. They have a few different.
Husqvarna, where does that fall in there?
That's like mid-grade.
Is that mid-grade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
They still sell those at a box store also.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yeah, there's a few box stores out there that do have Husqvarnas.
Yeah. And if it's a name you've never heard of before, be a little wary, I would say.
Yeah,
right?
double check, do your homework.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best way.
Yep.
Look them up,
the
find out
internet
what
is
they're
a
doing.
beautiful thing.
Yeah,
you know?
it is.
And people
Very
will not hold
informative.
back if it's bad stuff, you know?
Right.
You can if you go out there and look up ratings and reviews and things like that. There's like websites out there that all they do is review lawn equipment and stuff like that. So you can go out there and find some information about that and get some internet experts to give you some information. But the best way to go about that is if you look over and you get that same information from a number of different sources, it's got more
Usually
legitimacy
pretty good,
to it.
yes.
Yeah. If you're just getting it from one blowhard that had one problem, it's kind of hard to, break that out as a legitimate source.
Correct.
Yeah. The next thing we're going to talk about is a little bit about fuel for small engines. So when it comes to fuel for small engines, the biggest change that's happened over the last 15, 20 years is the installation of ethanol in our gasoline pretty much everywhere. I mean, is there anywhere that we can go and get ethanol-free gasoline anymore?
Oh, sure.
There's
you can actually buy it, in a can. It's called True Fuel.
Like this guy?
Yes.
So
that's one of your brands as far as...
Yep. So this is ethanol-free.
Yep.
It says no ethanol right on it. It's not cheap.
Nope.
But it's
a little bit more expensive.
Ethanol-free and going to cause less gumming up in your carburetors and things like that, right?
Yep. And it actually comes in a mix, too. This is just a 4-cycle, and then you also have a 50-to-1, and that's for your 2-cycle engines.
Yeah. Now, if an engine says it's supposed to run on 40-to-1 and you put in 50-to-1, is it going to make a difference?
Yeah, you could burn it up.
You could, really?
Mm-hmm.
Because 50-to-1 is thinner on the oil side.
Correct.
So if it said use 50-to-1 and you put in 40-to-1, you're probably going to be okay.
You'll be okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You should be fine.
So if you're gonna buy the 40-to-1 is like a bluish green can, I think.
Correct.
Or whatever. So if you don't know which, but yours have a 2-cycle equipment, buy the 40-to-1 mix, and you're probably gonna be okay.
You'll be okay. It'll smoke a little bit more just because you have more oil in it.
Yep. But it'll still run. It'll still be
fine.
lubricated. Yeah. Where if you go the other way, this doesn't have as much oil in it and may not be lubricating it well enough. And you could burn up your chainsaw, whatever you're putting it in.
Correct.
Stuff. So yeah. Now as far as the canned fuels, they last longer than gas station fuel. Correct. What's the average life expectancy of gas station fuel? 6 months, maybe?
No.
Not even?
No, I would. It actually starts to break down after 5 to 6 weeks. So
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you do have that gas and you don't have oil in it, you could put it in your vehicle.
Yeah.
And then it'll mix in with your gas in the tank.
And your car engine can handle that.
Yeah. Your car engine will handle it fine.
Yep. Otherwise, your small engine's really like fresh gas.
Fresher the better. 92% octane is great.
What now? When you get into there's what's the oil company over there in Slinger? They sell race fuel. Like you can go in there and buy a can like this of race fuel. Is that even better? Because it's like 96 octane or whatever it is, or 97.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, the higher the octane, the better for the small engine.
The cleaner the fuel is. Then
correct.
Too. Okay. All right. Cool. And then these cans, you guys, you can buy them just about anywhere. I mean, they have them at the Ace. They have them at the Menards and the Home Depots and everything.
Yeah, all the box stores have it.
They do have a date on them, though, which is that how important is the date on these guys when you go to buy them?
It's pretty important. I mean, you should try to use it by that expiration date, I guess is what it is.
But it's still going to last a lot longer.
It'll still be okay after that expiration date, but you got to use it fairly quickly.
Yeah, you don't want to let it sit there forever.
Correct.
And then if you do buy the oil mix, it does separate eventually, so you got to shake it up a little bit. Yep, shake it up, tip it upside down, rock it around. If it's been sitting there for a while, it can kind of separate a little bit. So you want to mix that all up. The main thing to understand with when it says 50-to-1 or 40-to-1 is that is the mixture of fuel to oil.
And that'll be labeled right on the top of the fuel cap whatever small unit you have.
Yeah, so like if you have a backpack blower, it'll be on the little orange cap that you take off and stuff like that. Sure, yeah. Now, as far as the ethanol that's in fuel, you said it's basically like corn syrup.
Pretty much.
There,
that's what they're doing.
And they're trying to constantly trying to push to put more and more ethanol into our fuel.
Yep.
And the corn farmers love that because then they get subsidies and everything else, right?
Yeah.
But it's really not good for our small engines. It's not good. I mean, you hear about the snowmobile guys who were probably the loudest. I mean, when they did the ethanol thing, the snowmobile guys were the loudest about the whole thing, about how it destroying their machines and stuff. And I guess some people are like, is that really true or is it an old wives' tale? And I think it
it's
has an
definitely
element
true.
of truth to it. You know, can ethanol run through an engine? Yes, but then you need to take extra maintenance steps in cleaning that engine and all that kind of stuff that you wouldn't have had to do had you not had ethanol in it. Right.
Yep.
When it comes to E85, I mean, other than in your car, I don't think that's anything you should mess with.
No.
Yeah.
Try not to use that at all.
Yeah. When you go to the E85, most of the gas stations like Quick Trip and stuff have the E85 and stuff.
Yep.
But that's only for such a few vehicles out there, you know, that actually are made
just
to
a
use
handful.
that. Yeah. But
And for your small engines, please.
Yeah, avoid it. It's a
Yeah.
dollar cheaper, okay? And I live with a cheapskate, okay? So I know how that goes. But saving $1 on that fuel could cost you hundreds of dollars in repairs. E85 fuel is only for a couple of cars or vehicles out there. It
Just
should
a
never,
no.
never use it in a small engine. Never put it in your string trimmer. Never put it in your lawnmower. None of that. It's just got extra ethanol in it, so it's got extra corn syrup in it, which will gum up your engine and cause problems. And there is ways to clean it, but it's kind of a pain in the butt, you know. And
It gets into everything.
Yeah.
I mean it's
and I can't,
terrible.
I can't see, even if you use those the ethanol cleaners and stuff, I can't see it getting it completely clean in there. I mean,
no, you're probably never going to get it all out of there.
Yeah.
Once it's in it.
once you burn it, it's
Yeah.
got there's some sugars in there too that can adhere to the walls of the piston rings and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, something I'd avoid.
Kind of eats away at the O-rings inside the
Oh, really?
carburetors.
Dries them out or
A little bit of
corrodes
both.
them?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if you can go to there are some gas stations where they'll sell ethanol-free gas, but you got to usually go out in the sticks to find.
Yeah,
those
you got to
guys,
find in the outskirts.
Yeah, and sometimes it's also more expensive because
And always will be a little bit more expensive.
yeah.
So is the best fuel to use the cans?
Yeah, but I mean that's really expensive compared to your regular fuels. Just try to get your premium gas, from the gas
that
stations. If you're going to
93
buy it
octane.
from,
Yeah, and like maybe at the end of the season when you're going to winterize your lawnmower,
that would be great to use
some of
true
this,
fuel
because it's going to sit. Right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
because it's going to sit.
You always want to run it dry at the end of the season.
Okay, that was the discussion we were going to have. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And running it dry at the end of the season really cleans out all that fuel out of there, but you still have some sitting in there, right?
A little bit, yes.
Yeah.
That's why you want to add a little bit of fuel stabilizer to your gas before you store it.
That's called a lead-in, people. Russ, he committed a lead-in all on his own without even having to be taught. So one of the next things we're talking about is fuel stabilizer. So I just swung into Menards and grabbed a couple of things that I could grab real quick,
Sure.
so we had something on the table to talk about. These are all different fuel stabilizers that you could readily pick up at your big box store, that kind of stuff.
Any of them. Yeah, all the stores handle this stuff.
Your lawnmower, which one's going in?
I use Seafoam myself.
Seafoam.
Yep.
So Seafoam is something that we use on all of our ATVs up north and stuff. It holds up really. It's really good for low temperatures and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I use it in my boat, especially for the winter.
Yeah, and you're not going to get that burnout when you first start up the machine or anything like that. You don't get any of that. Like if you put stable in, you're going to get some dark smoke and some puttering and stuff like that.
It's got to work its way through there.
Yeah,
It doesn't mix as well as the Seafoam or that one there.
This one.
Yep.
This is
StarTran
enzyme.
Yeah.
This is newer to the market. I mean, but
That's a good product too.
yeah, all the
I
guys
have used that in a few things, and it's a good product also.
Sure. All the guys at the ATV shop and stuff, this is what they're saying for your ATVs and motorcycles and all that kind of stuff. And it's supposedly just a cap full of it. I'm like, wow, that's
Same thing with your Seafoam. Couple capfuls per gallon is kind of the recommended amount that you want to put in.
dosage.
Yeah.
And then as far as this one is more of a claims to clean better, but it's ethanol shield. I don't know if it really does anything more than any of the others.
It's more of a oil kind of base, and it kind of coats everything
a
little more.
Sure.
And then your ethanol stuff isn't supposed to stick to your inner parts
to that
and
surface.
stuff. Yeah.
Sure. So fuel stabilizer is a great thing. Question on the thing there. What was the hardest small engine to repair? Probably the tinier the harder, right?
No, I mean, I got into a few of the boat motors
Oh, okay.
where they actually, the older ones, I don't work on any of the computerized ones they have, but the smaller, older boat motors and stuff, that was probably the hardest one I ever had to work on, was a 3-cylinder outboard.
Yeah. Well, and they cram it into such a tiny compartment,
Yep. And the carburetors are all, really tight. And that was one of the hardest ones I had to ever fix. So.
Yeah. Well, and the thing with what Russ does, you guys, is understand that all the small engines have basically the same parts. They look different. They're different sizes, but they're basically the same parts. So as long as you can learn how to work on one, you can learn how to work on other ones. And if you are at all mechanically inclined, you have any interest in starting a business for yourself or being your own boss and determine what days you work or don't work, okay, and you want to make some good money doing it, get a hold of the mobile repair guys. They are looking currently for franchisees, and where you would be running your own show, okay, and basically operate under their flagship, okay. Yeah, the other way, if you don't want to operate a business, you don't want to get into being a business owner, okay, they also would be looking at taking on employees right now. They're crazy busy. A lot of the small engine repair shops and things like that are closing these days.
We've had quite a few of the area shops have closed just recently, and unfortunately, there's just no place to take this stuff. Yeah. And we're getting calls.
Thankfully, you don't have to take it anywhere.
Right.
The guys will come to you, baby. That's the way the mobile repair guys work. But yeah, if you're at all interested in getting into that field, or you're mechanically inclined and want to be your own boss and stuff, Russ will take you under the wing.
Call.
Yeah, he'll take you under the wing. He'll teach you the ways of the world, and teach you how to repair small engines. I mean, even if you don't know how to fix small engines, but you're mechanically inclined.
Yeah, we're looking for just anybody to, that wants to learn, to come on board, and the way that works is you get to ride with me for a day and see if you want to do this for a living. And I'll teach you everything you need to know about running a business if you want to go that route, as far as being a franchisee. And just the opportunity is there for you.
Yeah, and the franchisee thing, you basically turnkey. You guys give them all the equipment, all the stuff, all set up for you, all ready to go. You got all the
most of the
software
guys,
and everything.
Yeah, most of the territories that I sell, you're going to start with a customer base already built into it.
Yeah,
most of the guys are starting with at least 500 to 600 customers day one.
Already working,
already up and running. Yeah. I've been doing this around here, that long that we have territories available right now. That I could stick you into, and you'll be up and running in business, making money your first day.
And it might be in your backyard. Who knows?
Oh, I want you to be close to your territory. That's kind of the way it's set up.
Yeah, so you don't have to drive as much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I got a guy in Germantown now, and he travels about 15 minutes from his house.
Yeah, that's ideal. That's ideal. A 15-minute commute.
Woo. Yep.
There you go. Perfect. As far as octane, we have talked about that a little bit briefly. That with octane, you always want to try to buy the higher the octane you can get, the better it is for your small engines. And the higher the octane, I think it lasts a little longer too, because it's just a cleaner, more refined fuel.
Yeah.
Right? So it lasts a little bit longer as far as lifespan. Race fuels are just the higher octane. When I mentioned that, you guys, you can go out and you can buy cans of race fuel if you want. It's just a higher octane. There is no fuel that you can go and buy that's going to last forever. Okay, it's nothing that you preppers out there, and I know who you are. I'm kind of a little bit of one of them myself, but I have been on the hunt for what fuel is going to last the longest and what fuel can I stabilize to last the longest. But ultimately, what you're looking at is probably a year lifespan on the cleanest fuel, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want it to last or sit any longer than that.
Yeah,
I mean, there again, like I said, if you do have it sitting in a can, try to rotate that through, pour it in your car and get some fresh stuff for your small engines.
Yep.
Is the best thing.
The car is designed to handle that.
It's going to mix in with your gas that you have.
And you're never going to notice a difference.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. By pouring just 5 gallons in there or whatever you got. So, as far as fuel stabilizers, we talked about that. Seafoam is mine and Russ's suggestion if you're looking to just stabilize your fuel for the winter and stuff like that. These aren't things that you use all the time, right? These are only things you use when you're not going to be using the equipment for a period of time, right? Or is it good to use it for cleaning?
You can add, like the Seafoam and stuff, you can add that all year long if you'd like to.
Is it going to help? Is it going to help the engine?
It will keep it cleaner.
Oh, okay.
It's got a cleaner additive right in it, and it does stabilize your fuel.
Is there any additives
for a little longer longevity of your gas? Then it'll last a little longer.
Is there any additives that are crucial, like things that we should all be putting in our fuel to help keep our engine running better?
Well, I mean, they're going to be your small engines. If you're running them all the time, more often, then there's really nothing that you have to add to it.
Yeah.
You're running your fuel through it, and that should keep it clean.
That'll help clean it up.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. So all those additives you can go to the hardware store and buy, you guys. You can buy a can of Seafoam. Okay, that's the way to go. And then we did talk about 2-cycle and 4-cycle engines and a little bit of the fuel oil mixtures and stuff like that already. But one of the topics that I put on our list to talk about, and I didn't know how it is for you guys, but electric equipment.
Still in a learning curve as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of bugs and stuff they got to work out. They are getting better.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting better all the time. Batteries are lasting longer.
Yeah. Will you service electric equipment?
No. I'm not into that yet. I did have Milwaukee Tool come and ask me if I wanted to go to one of their classes and stuff. I said I'd send my technicians and stuff. And I would be interested in getting into that, because it is the future, I believe.
It to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I don't think you're never going to get away from small engines.
No,
period.
I think the gas is always going to be there for us, you know.
It just provides...
But the electric is coming and it's getting better.
The gas provides so much more flexibility,
I agree.
There's some things that I like with electric, like our string trimmer. I love the electric string trimmer because I never run out of a battery, so I don't have to worry about that.
Right, just the power too.
And my guys, I love my guys. Okay, they gave me an electric chainsaw. I don't like it. The problem with the electric chainsaw is it burns through a battery so fast. When I have when I have my Echo out there or my Still, I can just fill it up or whatever and keep going. But when the batteries, how many times do we have to run back to the barn when we're doing logs, Tammy, just to swap these batteries?
Yeah, I got my exercise that afternoon.
Gosh. And it cuts nice, but the battery issue is just... Yeah. And the only way you fix that is by getting a bigger, heavier battery, which the thing already is heavier than a gas-powered chainsaw anyways.
Right. And the batteries aren't cheap, to replace them and even to buy extra to have them already charged for, like your chainsaw. Mm-hmm. You got to have 4 or 5 of them to run a whole day.
Well, and the batteries go bad eventually. Right?
Eventually they will. And they do lose their longevity too, after a while.
Yeah, it's like their storage ability gets lower and lower as it goes on. But like some of the new equipment they're coming out with, like Ego, I think they have a 0-turn mower that's battery operated now.
Yeah. But
the battery's like sealed in the thing, and I don't know. That just sounds like a lot of money for something that ain't going to last forever,
Yeah, it's just costly to buy new batteries and stuff. Those cells and stuff that they're saying that they're going to be able to, just recharge them and replace them.
Yeah.
They're still, it's a big learning curve yet. Yeah. I believe.
And you guys, as far as the service side of things, there's not a lot of service out there for those things either. You guys, Russ is not that he's not behind the times on things. Okay. It's just that the electric equipment, there's so many different variations of it and everyone is making their own thing that it's not like small engines where they're all the same, just different size parts. You know what I mean? So there's just, you don't have the support. You don't have the service ability of it. Yeah. You could maybe send something to Ego, but
there's not a lot of techs out there. There's not a lot of places you could take it and get it fixed.
Yeah, incredibly expensive. And even if all you do is look at the battery on a large battery system like that, maybe 5 years, 6 years, if that. He's like, I don't know about that.
I can't even give you a date. Yeah, time frame.
It's tough, but you know what? My John Deere that I got out there been running for 16 years and still cuts like a champ,
Still going.
Yeah. Or even that Craftsman snowblower that I got, that thing, you can pass that down to my kids. They're going to pass it on to their kids because I take care of it. And then I also have Russ come out and take care of it for me once in a while too. But you know what? Those gas powered engines like that, they can last a really, really, really long time, especially
if you take care of them.
If you take care of it.
Yeah.
Yep. If you take care of it. And, when we get around to winter time, you guys, maybe we'll have Russ back and we'll kind of go over, how to, do some simple maintenance, and,
Sure.
and stuff like that. But
Love to come back.
yeah. Now, as far as that electrical equipment, if you have any questions and concerns or anything like that, I have done a lot of research about that, and I do have some electrical equipment myself, but it's not like I'm looking at electric string trimmer. I do have the electric chainsaw. Not a huge fan of that. I have a electric tree lopper, like the Milwaukee chainsaw thing on the end. Yeah. And
chainsaw pole.
And that's fine. That's fine too. You know what I mean? That works fine. But you're not using a lot of battery juice to operate that thing, because you're only cutting through little branches and stuff.
Right.
But when you come to operating a chainsaw, cutting through big logs, I would cut through maybe get 12 to 15 cuts out of the thing, and then
battery's dead,
and I'm stuck, and
Tammy,
I need a new battery. Or the other ones are still charging.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, bring me a Diet Coke, whatever.
Gotta wait 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Or more. Some of those big batteries take a long time to charge, you know? So the next thing we have is when it comes to summer coming, one of the things that we need to put away for the summer is our snowblower. And what can we do to put away our snowblower properly to make sure that it comes out of summer and is ready for use in winter without a lot of headaches?
There again, we'll go back to the fuel stabilizer. Try to run it completely out of fuel if you can. You're not going to get it all out of there.
So do we put the fuel stabilizer in and then run it?
Yes.
Okay.
Add your stabilizer first, and then run it as far down as you possibly can.
Okay. So
that'll go through the carburetor and lube that up and stuff. And
so the gas that they have in their snowblower has been sitting there for a little while.
Right.
So just run the whole tank out?
Well, if you can siphon out most of it and then add your fuel stabilizer to whatever's left in the bottom of the tank.
Okay.
And then run it until it dies or run most of it out.
Okay.
That's the best way to store it for the...
So a couple capfuls in the fuel.
Yep.
Run it till it's dry. It's going to sit out in your front yard and putter at the end. And then when it dies, should you try to start it again to get all of it out, or?
No. Once it dies, you'll be fine. Okay. And then if there is a fuel shutoff valve on the tank, I would turn that off and then let it idle until it dies the last couple of runs or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
And then that'll burn the gas or most of the gas that's in the carburetor out.
Okay. That empties out the bowl.
Correct.
That's in there. Okay.
Then when you add fuel in the fall to start your snowblower, you're adding fresh fuel. You open up that valve, and then you got fresh gas going to your carburetor.
Okay. So after you run it dry, you don't need to put anything in the tank.
No, because you already did with.
Because you ran the stabilizer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then when the summer's over, time to get ready for winter here. Probably start with some canned fuel. Wouldn't be a bad thing.
That would be a good thing.
To clean it a little bit.
Or the higher octane is the better.
Yeah. And then when you go to start it for the first time, little seafoam in there.
Sure.
Yeah. Little seafoam in there to help clean that all out from anything that's been sitting in there and getting grungy over the last 3, 4, 5 months, whatever it is. Yeah. So, so to summarize this, to put away your snowblower for the year, okay, put a little fuel stabilizer in. Well, get rid of a little bit of the gas if you have it topped off. If you can siphon any out. If you can't siphon it out, that's fine. Then just put a little bit more of this in there because this is based on 1 cap per gallon of fuel. Correct. So if your snowblower has maybe at the most 1.5 gallons in it, right? 2 gallon tank on there.
Oh, not even that much.
1 gallon tank. Yeah. So just put 1 or 2 caps in, run that till it runs dry. Right when it's getting down to where it's starting to putter a little bit, turn off the fuel from the fuel tank if you can.
Yep.
Let it keep running dry till there's nothing else left in there, and
it'll actually shut off.
And it'll turn off all on its own.
Yep.
Should they lubricate anything?
Oh, grease and lube everything before you put it away.
Before you put it away.
Yeah.
Okay. So anywhere there's a grease cert, you want to grease.
And then I actually use like a silicone spray.
Okay.
For lubing the auger system and everything, the chute.
Sure, where all the joints are, and the moving pieces.
Yeah, and wherever you have a little rust spot maybe.
Yeah.
Just soak that down with some silicone.
Yep. Now, sometimes people fog. Is fogging a thing?
Yep. You can take your spark plug out and then fog the cylinder.
And that's just a spray.
That's just a spray, yeah.
Yep. So your spark plug, you guys, you can take that out, spray a little fogger in there. Seafoam, I think, makes us fogger, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so you can get the Seafoam fogger, just spray it right in there. Do you have to run it at all then, or
just pull it over a couple times?
Okay, so just pull the handle a couple times to get a couple of rotations,
and then the cylinder will go up and down a couple times. That'll lube everything inside the cylinder.
Sure. So then there's even if some water or something like that does get in there, it's not going to start corroding.
Correct.
Okay, cool. And then as far as storage, just put a sheet over it and call it a day.
Yep.
Put it away in the shed.
Put it
or
away
wherever.
wherever you store it. I'd like to mention if you do have a storage shed that's actually outside, you might want to put a couple of dryer sheets or something on the tires and stuff just to keep the mice out.
Oh, okay.
Of the cavity that, they'll crawl up inside the motor and stuff and
find a spot.
Yeah, they'll build a nest in there, and we've run into that quite a bit where they make their little home right in the.
My mother-in-law, she used to have the mice get up underneath the car and they'd fill it up because they'd go to Arizona and they'd come back and they're mouse nests in the car, in the muffler and all that kind of stuff, and the car wouldn't run right.
What they do is they love the like the spark plug wires. Mm-hmm. I think they're actually made out of a little peanut butter.
Oh,
and they sit and chew that up, and then you got problems.
That's like air conditioner wires and stuff too. Yeah. And then I guess so. That is winterizing your snowblower. As far as the difference between homeowner maintenance and professional maintenance.
I mean, I guess if you know what you're doing, that there's not a whole lot of difference between me coming out. I do go through everything and tighten bolts and stuff that you probably wouldn't normally do.
Might not even be able to access in most cases without taking it apart.
Some of them, yeah. I mean, the belly pan on the bottom of the snowblower and stuff, we take that all off and lubricate everything inside there, the gearbox and the shafts and everything. So,
sure.
I mean, we do a thorough tune-up when we do come out.
Yep.
So,
and how often should somebody be getting their equipment tuned up?
It kind of depends on the individual and actually how much they use it.
Okay.
Usually a snowblower we can get away with every other year.
Okay.
Your lawnmowers, I would recommend that doing it every year. You do use those a lot more than the snowblowers, and
especially
sharpening the blade is huge. Yeah. I mean, you can actually kind of see it. It'll actually start to tear the grass instead of actually cut it. Yeah, like split ends on your hair.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can actually see it when the blade is getting dull.
And that's not good for your grass either.
No.
So
no, it doesn't help the grass grow or
get
anything
all kinds
like
of
that.
Diseases and things like that in
Correct.
your yard. Yeah. And then the one thing I was like, I know you talked about the boat motors are difficult, but what is there ever been any like horror stories? Like you showed up and the thing was like melted or something like that, or
there's a few. Well, the mouse nests are probably the worst.
The worst ones.
Yeah. We got to take the cowling off the top of the motor, and you have a huge mouse nest. There's some even still alive in there. Snakes.
Really?
Oh yeah. Sure.
Hello. Here we go. Yeah. Tammy's like, I'm not going to work with Russ. Yeah. But so and then as far as contacting you for repairs, we're going to put your the number up on the bottom of the screen here. You can also go to the helpfulhomeinspector.com and you can get their information to contact them via email or by phone. His wife is Janet. She's the wonderful, lovely voice on the other side of the phone, and she'd be happy to help you out. Either Russ will help you out or they'll refer you to one of their franchises, depending on where you live and stuff. Again, if you're looking to get into a franchise and you'd like to do some mobile repair stuff, there's some cash to be made.
Yes, there is.
And it's basically a recession-free business. So there's never going to be a time where people stop cutting their grass or stop shoveling their driveway. And something that you can definitely get into, make some cash doing it. And it's sounds like a fairly easy transition if you're mechanically inclined.
Yes. Yeah, we can train you really easy.
Yeah. If you're not mechanically inclined,
we can teach you pretty much everything.
Yeah. You can always give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, go right. And Russ, like I said, he did volunteer to have you guys go along for a ride along one day just to see what it's like, and to see if you'd be even interested. You don't have to make a full on commitment right away. You can check it out, see what it's like, talk to him more about it. He loves talking about it. This is what he does every day, you guys. Okay, so he'd love to talk to you about it. But if you're interested in that at all, or you're looking for a job, definitely hit him up. All right. But those are the mobile repair guys, you guys. Remember, if you do need your equipment serviced or maintained, give them a call. They'll come right to you. You don't have to take your snowblower anywhere. You don't have to take your lawnmower anywhere to get it taken care of and make sure that it's going to work when you need it to. All right.
And when your equipment dies, call the guys.
I love it. Tagline. When your equipment dies, call the guys. Tammy, we need a tagline. Do I have a tag? Oh, yeah, I kind of do have a tagline. The better you take care of home, the better it takes. Okay, I'm with you. We're with you. All right, now we do have our giveaway question of the week, and Russ is going to participate in this one. So the giveaway question of the week, we do have a $25 Buffalo Wild Wings gift card going out here to the first person that can answer this question correctly. As always, remember, if you've won a prize in the last month, you cannot win again this month, or cannot win this time, but you can win after it's outside of a month. But we do have a $25 Buffalo Wild Wings gift card on the line for answering this question. And if you can't answer it right now, if you're not in the comments below or something like that, you can always watch the replay and put it in the comments there. First person to put it in the comments will win the gift card. The question is, what is the most common small engine repair according to the mobile repair guys?
Oh, you got this.
It's mentioned a couple times today. So if you've been paying attention at all, you should be able to get the answer. It is according to Russ, so it's not something you can Google, okay? But if you want to call Russ up and ask him, I guess maybe, but I don't know.
Janet would know it too.
Would Janet know it too?
Oh, yes.
Janet would know it
For
too.
sure.
All right, there you go. And then the next thing we got is the top 5 enemies of your small engine equipment. Top 5 enemies. Now I put 5 down here. They're up there right where it says segment 6 there. Any of those you disagree with?
Water is pretty big.
Yeah. Water basically leading to corrosion, right?
Yeah.
And stuff.
And there again, it's actually could get into your fuel tank too. Mm-hmm. So
and cause rusting because a lot of the older fuel tank. Well, even all the newer ones are a lot of plastic, right?
But your water is actually heavier than fuel.
Okay.
So that will actually drain down to your carburetor.
Oh, and get in there and mess things up too.
Well, not only that, but your initial suction is going to be water instead of fuel.
Yeah.
When you first try to start your mower or lawnmower or snowblower.
Yeah.
So you're actually sucking water into your spark plug, and it won't fire.
It won't fire. Yeah, water not flammable.
Right.
Water not flammable. We also had poor lubrication.
Yep, that's
Pretty
a
common.
huge one.
Yeah.
Right.
So grease and lube, folks, it's not that hard. A grease gun is maybe $15 at Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
very
not
cheap,
not very expensive.
Easy to use.
Yep. The oil.
Use lubricated.
Yeah, whatever kind of oil you want to lubricate joints, like in the snowblower, where all the auger and all that kind of. There's a lot of little parts that move around in there. If you can keep a little oil on them, not only is it going to stop water from getting in there and causing corrosion and stuff, but it's going to help those parts flow smoother, not get jammed stuck, and not get
Grease
buildup.
certs
Yeah. Fill up.
Are friendly.
Yeah, yeah, very much, very friendly. And then when you're filling up with grease, a lot of times people don't know how to use it. They're like, how many pumps do I give it? You give it enough pumps until you see a little bit of grease squirting out where it's supposed to.
Just a tiny bit coming out on the ends of whatever you're filling. Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's an axle or a shaft or whatever. Yeah, find those greasers. They look like little nipples.
Just a button,
with a little
hole on the end of it.
Tammy will put a picture of a grease cert on the screen for you in the replay here. Yeah, you just stick the grease gun on there. Make sure you seat it nice and tight, and then you give it a couple of pumps. And usually a couple of pumps is all you should need. If you need more than a couple of pumps, you've been neglecting.
Really dry.
Yeah, then it's really dry. You want to give it a couple of pumps. You should see a little bit of grease squirt out. Not a lot, not a big glump, but just like a little bit should come out. They do sell electric grease guns, and unless you grease a lot, I wouldn't get an electric grease gun because it's going to be overused. You just hold that trigger down and you're going nuts. I have a tractor up north, so I use there's a lot of grease certs on a John Deere tractor, obviously. So I have an electric one just out of convenience. Plus, some of them are in weird spots, And,
get your rubber hose one.
Yeah, it's
flexible hose.
A little longer. Mine's like the electric one's got like a 5-foot hose on it or whatever, so I can just set it on the ground and get into places and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I put one of those auto locking tips on it.
Tips on it.
Yeah, so I don't have to worry about it. It won't pop off when I'm pressurizing it, and stuff. Neglected maintenance. Is that a big one?
Huge, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your air filter on your lawnmowers, you can actually take that out once in a while, during the season.
Yeah.
Just blow it out.
Just blow it out.
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard of guys wash them out with gas. Like they put a little gas in a bowl. And
you can, but air is plenty, actually.
Yeah.
There's a pre-filter on the outside of your regular air filter on some of them.
Okay.
Taking that one, you could probably soak in gas,
Yeah.
But there again, sometimes that'll expand and then it just kind of ruins it.
Sure.
So air is probably your best bet. just blowing those out.
And the air filter very easy to access, right? It's just a little plastic housing on the outside of the motor, and you usually just got to take off. Sometimes even just a little butterfly nut. Sometimes you take off, and
usually it's just a butterfly nut.
Yeah, right there, and it's easy to take off. It's not something to if you take that if your machine's not running and you take that off and you take the filter off and it now starts running, something's wrong with your mower or your engine. It's not. That's how you're supposed to operate it. So that at that point, call Russ. All right. And then fuel issues. That's my biggest thing with the snowblower, because it just sits and that ethanol, it just.
Yeah, storage is kind of your biggest thing with that. Again, storing it the right way for the summer.
Yeah, since the last time you guys came, I switched over to the canned fuel and the seafoam, and I haven't had an issue. Yeah, and so that's been really good. But having some regular maintenance done, getting a tune-up done once in a while just to make sure things are staying tight. Because like Russ said, they go and they tighten everything up and make sure that things are going to stay together for you.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is when that 18-inch snowfall comes and your snowblower conks on you, guess who's busy? And guess who's booked out a ways and not going to be able to get to you right away? Let's see. Most common gasoline carburetors. Kelsey Martin won the gasoline carburetors.
Nice.
She wins the $25 gift card.
Congratulations,
Kelsey. Way to go. Yeah. Carburetors, by far the most common issue.
Yes.
Yes,
by far.
And primarily related to ethanol fuel.
Correct.
Yeah. The next thing that I had, improper operation. Like somebody
usually not too much. I mean, there's
like user error. No.
Well, I'm sure there's some, but
so what would you say should be number 5?
I would actually go back to the stressing that maintenance,
that neglect.
Yep, neglect of just general maintenance on it.
Yeah. Engines, whether they're fuel or, electric, all that equipment requires maintenance. Even if you just are operating off a battery, you still have to maintain that equipment. It's still got spinning blades and other parts that move around and stuff that need to be.
The old saying is pay me now or pay me later.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes pay me later costs a lot more than pay me now.
You're probably buying a new unit by then.
Yeah.
So
could it be improper storage? Because if you don't prep it and store it, then it won't work the following season.
That's part of it with the snow blowers, especially. Your lawnmowers and stuff.
They're usually a bigger engine.
Yeah.
So they can handle.
But your
more.
push mowers and stuff, there again, your storage for the winter is kind of the same process as you would for your snow blower.
Mm-hmm.
Run it dry on fuel, add your stabilizer right at the end.
Yep.
Run it a little bit, and then pour a couple capfuls in at the end and lubricate that. You could fog your cylinder.
Yep.
Do that general maintenance.
Yeah. And really not that expensive to do those things.
No, not at all.
But man, does it save you the bills later on,
Tons of money later on.
If you don't take care of that equipment and you put it away and there's moisture in the fuel or whatever, you're causing problems inside your engine that are in some cases unrepairable.
One thing I'll suggest, as far as your lawnmower goes, is the deck itself. If you can get underneath there and scrape that dead grass off, old grass, if you cut when it's a little damp outside, your blades are going to be spinning a lot easier if you get some of that grass and stuff off the bottom of the deck.
Yeah.
Take your push mower and always tip it to the oil side, drain tube side.
Okay.
You can tip that up and then scrape the bottom of the deck off.
Is usually the non-shoot side, right? It changes.
Depends on which unit you have.
Okay.
Yep. But always the oil filler tube side or the oil drain side.
Yep.
You want to tip that towards the ground, and then because if you tip it the other way, then the oil's actually going to run into the filter box.
Oh, okay. You don't want that.
You don't want that.
Yeah. So, just a couple of great tips, you guys, to help you maintain and take care of your small engine equipment. Russ Benser from the Mobile Repair Guys would love to help you guys out if you do need some maintenance and stuff. Now, the next thing we have is our tip of the week. Tip of the week. The tip of the week today is going to be clean or replace your air conditioner drain pan hose. So lots of times I go into homes and I find furnaces that have all kinds of rusting and water damage and stuff because the drain pan underneath your air conditioner in your basement gets clogged up and it overflows and causes all kinds of damage to your furnace. And a furnace, you guys, is not meant to be submerged or have water on it. So if you're running water down the side of it because this pan is overflowing, you're going to cause damage to your furnace pretty quickly. And a replacement furnace, $6,000 to $8,000 these days. You know, it's expensive, and it can be very preventable. So coming out of your furnace, there's going to be a hose or a tube. So most of the time, it's going to be a clear hose of some kind going down and leading to the floor drain. This is where the drainage from the condensation in your air conditioner or from your high efficiency furnace is going to drain down through that tube, go into the floor drain, and drain away. All right. If that tube is blocked at all, okay, or kinked or pinched or has something set on it, the water's going to back up into that pan and flow over and go onto your furnace, causing electrical problems, causing rusting on the inside, causing rust in your heat exchanger, all kinds of issues. To replace that hose is not very expensive. You can go to your local Ace Hardware. You can go to your local True Value. I don't know that they would sell that stuff at Home Depot, like clear tubing and stuff. Probably not.
They might have it in the plumbing section.
Maybe.
I don't know for sure.
Yeah, you might have to buy those.
Might not have the right size though.
Yeah,
and that'd be the other issue.
Yep. Replacing that tube is probably the best way to go. The condensate constantly running through there will leave this boogery layer in there that will eventually build up and block that hose, and it's just a neglect thing. If you don't want to buy a new hose and you're a cheapskate, then you can take that hose out and run hot water through it for a long time, and it'll eventually clean all the boogers and everything out of there. But when you do that, you also have to clean the nozzle or the tip that's coming out of the drain pan. Otherwise, that can build up as well. Some of them do have CPVC or PVC as their drain tubes. Those, again, you can clean with hot water. Okay, you just got to run a bunch of hot water through there. Otherwise, they do make, just like cleaning a gun, they can get those little brushes that you stick through there and just pull that thing right through there, and that'll clean the whole inside of that pipe. That would be an option as well. But either way, you got to get it clean. If you don't get it clean, it's going to cause a backup and cause damage to your furnace and premature failure. And, you know, that's never a good thing, especially here in Wisconsin where we could have polar vortex tomorrow. I mean, you never know, you know, so who knows? But that is your tip of the week, folks. Now, next week, we have Team Smith coming in. Mark is going to come in here. We're going to talk about the home selling listing process, what you have to go through to list or sell your home. By the way, a great time to list your home. I don't know how long the market's going to hold out for at these higher prices and stuff, but it is hot right now. People cannot keep a house on the market for very long. Yeah. How long have you been in your place?
Going on 11 years.
11 years, yeah.
Yep.
And the part of the thing with listing these days, you guys are going to get more for that house than you probably ever will in the probably the next 5 to 10 years at this time. Things are going to adjust, and it's just a matter of time. But Mark Smith and from the Smith team are going to come in here. They're going to talk about the home selling listing process with us. They're going to give us a brief market update. So where's the housing market at right now as we see it today? We're also going to talk about the top 3 defects that destroy home sales. So what can be found in your home that's going to blow up your home sale. We're going to give you the top 3, all right? And we're also going to give you some good reasons to declutter your home, not just for your listing, but also just for living life, people, just for living life, all right? Thanks again to Russ Benser for coming in and hanging out with us today. I appreciate it. Yes. The mobile repair guys, folks, if you're looking for a job, look them up. They love to help you out. They have great franchise opportunities there, or employment opportunities, but they also would love to come out and help maintain and take care of your small engine equipment at your home, all right? Give them a call. Their website and telephone information is all going to be up on our website. Hey, thanks for tuning in today, you guys. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you want to know when we put out the next one, give me a bell notification. It's a little bell on the bottom right-hand side. And subscribe. You want to know when I'm coming out with new stuff or whatever. You want to be able to check us out and be alerted to new video content coming your way. Subscribe button's really the way to go. Thanks again for tuning in, you guys. Remember, the better you take care of your house, better it's going to take care of you. Have a good one.